Hello, today is NOWCHAT, March 22nd, 2021. I'm Sue Rose Minahan, host of Talk Cosmos, a weekly panel discussion, and I have with me Sara Stromley, who's also on the Moonbeam Team panel that'll be coming up this next Sunday. We've moved to Sundays, and we're doing a NOWCHAT astrological commentary. And we're focused on a situation that happened a week ago of a hate crime that's striking the country's attention necessarily because, as Sara found out, there's through Nick Campion's World Chart book, there's a chart of the Confederate uh, chart. And the consciousness seems to be revealing this uh, within that the United States is struggling with yet on many dimensions. Hi, Sara.
Hi. Yeah, I just thought the Confederacy chart really represents the origination and continuation of the inflated pride of heritage, self-righteousness, anger towards any perceived threat, and need to protect against anything that falls outside the mirror of their own demographic. And to me, that speaks very loudly of the white supremacist movement. It most
It's
clearly
most
defines that.
visible. It is
It
absolutely
most
most
expresses
visible
as that. Yes.
because I, yes, and I'm so grateful to have this chance to interact with you because it's evident the more I think about it that always the seed gets exhibited, but yet I think that this chart begins to represent the consciousness that in any form needs to be addressed because right now the nodes in communicative Gemini Sag is the time to open up conversations and readdress labels and get rid of stereotypes. Very much so. Maybe we should say when the Confederate chart was. It was February 4th, 1861 in Montgomery, Alabama, time unknown. Yes, go
Yeah.
ahead.
So, yeah, that's on the outside wheel of this chart. The inside is the actual time of the shooting that we determined to be 4:50 p.m. on Tuesday the 16th. You can see many strong activations of Mars in this chart. Uranus very much excites aggression and desire, and that's expressing in the 10th house there
The
um,
event
of the event. Yes.
through this
Uh,
consciousness.
yeah, it the Mars activated the Uranus of this collective consciousness. So there's also a Mars square. The natal chart of the Confederacy is square the Pluto of transiting Pluto at that time, which is a pretty lethal. The shadow side again can be very lethal.
It wants to manipulate. Yes, I think that's very true. It wants to manipulate on the shadow side here through anger and that natal Mars for that particular Confederate chart is in
Yeah,
its own sign, so it's very instinctive.
yeah. And the Confederacy Mars is conjunct Eris, which is targeting those that they perceive to be the outsider or the alienated ones or the
On the
ones that are
trend,
alien to them. So,
there is
um,
that.
and it's trine, it's in a
Well,
very tight
if
trine to Jupiter.
yeah,
Mhm.
if I might expand a little
Yeah,
bit thinking
sure.
about this, that with the key here with Jupiter on the ascendant, in other words, of the event, that it demonstrates how this consciousness of this chart with Jupiter on the ascendant. So it was a really righteous belief system, which I know you had mentioned. But what's most particular too of that belief system is the square that we're transiting right now that's really indicative because it's between Saturn and Uranus, both co-rulers of Aquarius. And right now, the current times are so strongly connecting this new consciousness that we're entering for 200 years of air from Earth. So, here it is that sense of control with their showing the charts, Saturn of control and authority over in Virgo of, perhaps you could say, servants, which goes back to Confederate, of their slave consciousness, which is one of the illustrations of this hate, this scapegoating hate, is in struggle with Uranus of polarity in Gemini, which happens to be at this chart, and I'll flip back to it just for a moment, exact conjunction with the United States, 84 years, that are both 8 degrees. So this Uranus is so indicative of the consciousness of something within the United States that through this chart can be revealed.
Yeah, the action, the Mars action activated that Uranus conjunction between the Confederacy chart and the United States chart, which is highly unusual because it takes how many
84 years. But more
84.
than that, yeah, it does. So it shows that there is a seed consciousness somewhere in our entire consciousness, because we're going through a real reformation of consciousness with this energy of Pluto here. That is going to have its return after 250 years, these big cycles. So this is just one act of this violence that, as we have often commented, that are made legitimate through the rhetoric of the past presidency, that now is beginning to maybe be hidden, because Pluto reveals what's hidden. There's a lot of triggers here, but I'm tying it in that with the Mars, which you have aptly commented through the is this square energy that we are also experiencing, of course correction, right, with Uranus.
Yeah, that double signature. This happened in the event chart. It was the act of violence came to one's workplace, and it was expressed in dangerous terms. You see the Pluto conjuncting that Moon and Uranus of the event chart.
Up here.
The Confederate Pluto is lined up with that excitable Moon
Crisis situation.
Yes, the crisis and trauma, and it's right at the top of the chart.
Community, yeah.
So this, what was a local event became a national. It shook the nation, and it still is. It's still reverberating.
And the Asian community, which you have really mentioned, that it's not, our hatred isn't necessarily just to one group. It's been evident that, yes, there's been examples with the Black community horrendously, and gay people, but here we have Asian. In other words, once there's hatred, it can focus on anything that, as you had first presented, isn't within the limited, defined areas of one's own self. So it's really from, again, you could say that this consciousness of Jupiter here is for the me rather than the we. And our Constitution thrills itself that we are this melting pot, as you had said, that maybe we should wake up as to theory and practice.
Yeah. But you see the Mars, the natal in this chart is the Mars, Jupiter, Moon. It's all in a fiery trine. And what joins this as a grand, almost a grand square here, is that Jupiter opposing and right there on the descendant. And it's expressing with that Mercury. It's creating a narrative of that
awareness, real awareness,
yeah.
isn't it? Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Sarah. This is really.
And yeah, I just wanted to add that the Saturn is really exposing the shadow side of
which Saturn?
Of the transit Saturn, and right there is shining light on the solar soul of the Confederacy and this the rule, this almost religiosity of
Elitism.
domestic elitism and domestic heritage. That
It's so true. We're really revamping it. Thank you so much. I know we have so much more to say, and we might do that in a part two. We'll consider. But
okay.
these are short little astrological commentaries. But our goal here is to open up consciousness, right? It's like seeing through astrology what, as you put very beautifully, was a local situation that's really increasingly our part of the story and fabric of what we're addressing. So thank you, Sara Stromley. And for our audience, subscribe, listen to Sara and myself as we join other panelists on Saturday, and comment. We love to hear your feedback. All right, we'll talk to you again, Sara.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
right.